I know I'm here for a purpose, and that is to help one homeless person at a time.
Agnes Cole is in the business of changing lives.
Well, thank you, Agnes.
You're welcome, Charles.
You've really been a lifesaver.
She's a case manager with Father Joe's Villages. It's the region's largest shelter and homeless service provider. Her job is to help people get off the streets and into permanent supportive housing, which is usually a single room, a converted motel unit, or studio apartment with on-site counseling and other services.
For me, when it comes to helping people, I take it personally.
She says it's not an easy job. Often people who need the most help refuse assistance.
When I approach them, I know they don't believe me. When I say I'm going to get you into housing for the rest of your life.
She walks them through an application process and finds a landlord who will accept them.
Since most of our clients some have evictions, some have bad credits, most of them, and things like that, we negotiate.
While waiting for a housing unit, she assesses their needs, helps them get an ID and a social security card if they need them, and looks for other funding programs they might qualify for, including food stamps and disability.
So it's working, but you have to be patient. You have to understand. You have to understand where they're coming from.
For many homeless, they're coming from years of sleeping on floors and cement, lugging all their belongings in a cart, eating in soup kitchens, struggling with disabilities and hopelessness.
And that's why I go looking for my clients tent to tent.
The mother of three compares the conditions on the streets of downtown to the war zone she fled 13 years ago in West Africa.
Trust me, I understand it. I know what it is. And when I look at these people in the streets, it breaks my heart.
San Diego County has seen a significant rise in its homeless population. The number of people sleeping outside in tents and under overpasses has soared 40% over the last 3 years. Nearly 1,300 people sleep along the outskirts of the East Village, where a hub of charities serve the homeless. Sidewalks are covered in encampments and trash. Public restrooms include just a handful of toilets. Some say it's a contributor to the recent hepatitis A outbreak.
It's almost like there are two societies when I see all that I see every day.
Colleen Gruber is also a caseworker for Father Joe's Villages, but 2 decades ago, she walked in their homeless shoes, hitchhiked across Europe while hooked on opium.
That is a monster that I'm very familiar with, and so for 27 years I lived like that. But there was this little light in my heart that was very dim, and I did my best to put it out.
Gruber got clean, went to college for a degree in social work, and now spends every day looking for a dim hope in others.
I tell them, if you don't believe in yourself, believe that I believe that you can change, that your life can change.
San Diego has launched a major initiative to get 3,000 to 5,000 homeless people off the streets over the next 3 years. Rick Gentry, CEO of the San Diego Housing Commission, is one of the leaders overseeing the $80 million project.
What San Diego's got to do is to understand a transition from a small city to a true urban area with housing expansion instead of being pushed out, pushed in and up, greater density. Which itself could provide more affordability.
He says the waiting list for an affordable housing voucher is currently 7 to 10 years.
We've got 75,000 applicants for 15,000 occupied units with a turnover rate of about 100 a month. You can do the math.
Homeless people are one of the populations receiving priority right now. So are disabled, elderly, and veterans. Gentry says turning the homeless and housing crisis around will require more places for people to live and more funding to build it.
And how do you get city laws, ordinances changed to allow for easier development?
Still, Gentry says progress is being made.
The thing I don't know how to predict is what the growth and the problem is going to continue to be despite all the efforts and attentions that were given to it.
Agnes Cole says it's overwhelming to look out onto the streets and see all the people in need. That's why she has her own strategy.
It's possible to help them, but one person at a time. One person at a time.
Susan Murphy, KPBS News.